Yo, what's animated, my good YouTube people? It's B3, and we're back for another great Chainsaw Man chapter. And no, wait, why does it only with this damn mangaka do I have to say no wait? But it is very good to have Chainsaw Man back on a weekly basis, man. How are you guys doing? I've been feeling good, and I really have to say that this may be a simpler and easier chapter, but I'm very surprised by how many ideas and how many theories that came out of this chapter itself. Because the main crux of this chapter throughout it was mainly about Denji's future and his future endeavors and how he himself wants to proceed his next life or the next chapter of his life, being Chainsaw Man or not being Chainsaw Man. And I believe this is perfectly displayed back in some earlier chapters, specifically being chapter 92 to 93. And if I were to summarize 92 to 93 in the simplest way possible, it talks about how Denji has never truly had control over his life throughout majority of it. He's just been doing what he's been told, and that's mainly how he's lived his life. And he seems very downtrodden about this, but what Kabani would say that that's normal. Majority of people's life, they kind of don't have control over. And the main key about 92 is comparing how Denji was the first chapter to at least 92 chapter, to chapter 92. Because it shows that under Denji's normal circumstance of the Denji we had in chapter 1 would have loved the life he lived in 92. Even though it wasn't the perfect life, he would have to live in a life of hiding because Makino was after him, and he wouldn't be able to go too much in the outside world. Denji from chapter 1 would have been okay with his life because it gave him the two necessities he needed: food and a place to stay. That is Denji's dream from Denji from chapter 1. Just because it gave him all the requirements he had from the beginning of chapter. And then this leads me up to chapter 93, in which Denji himself is more honest about his feelings living in this new life that was given to him. Because if Denji from chapter 1 went to Denji to chapter 92, he would have been fully happy. But Denji, we don't have Denji from chapter 1. We have Denji as leading all the way up to 92, in which he went to public safety. He had a normal life to a certain degree. He tasted better food. And now he's getting a taste of fandom. Things that he's never had before and is very excited to experience. And I think that kind of foreshadows chapter 134 as we see it right now. As in Denji's newfound livelihood as Chainsaw Man, the new fame he gets, how it feels good for him, this new attention he's getting. He likes it very much, and that's very normal for him. And now he's losing a side of it. It brings into question, did he truly get what he wanted? Is this the normal life he wants to live? Or has he experienced so many things from a better, or at least a good life, to a point where he can no longer turn back to being the old Denji he was, at least the Denji in chapter 1? Because as we see him back in 93, he exposed his true feelings. He doesn't want to go back to life of just having the bare minimum. He wants the good life he had, because the Denji from chapter 1 would have loved the life given to him in chapter 92. But the Denji he is now, because of all the other experiences and other benefits and the new things he's given to him, can no longer live off of that. And I think that's kind of going on to this Denji now. The Denji we have in chapter 133 can be the Denji that can live off the life he's been given in chapter 134. Which could be the foreshadowing that Denji himself will go back to being Chainsaw Man. And it also is like a show of growth for Denji, to show that he himself is willing to sacrifice his needs and wants for others, which he's been able to do that before when he did the same thing when he didn't go on a trip with Makina because Power was scared of the darkness devil. But I love this re-showing that Denji is still growing as a person and he still is caring. And I really love how it parallels to this chapter too, with Denji himself rethinking his life choices, wondering if he can live a normal life, and how just seeing the news and seeing everyone's perception of him change, or at least having a perception of him that he feels doesn't represent him, makes him very angry, to a point where he himself is pointing at TV arguing with himself. I do love seeing this passion come out of Denji. And it actually makes me ask a question, like, I actually do wonder if Denji not being Chainsaw Man can actually be the one thing that can actually kill Denji. Because if we remember Denji's deal with Paichida, it was that for Denji to live his dream. And even if Denji's okay with not being Chainsaw Man, if being Chainsaw Man is his dream, then they kind of just violate the contract. And if, let's say, Denji violates the contract and then something tragic would happen where his life's in danger, would he be able to heal himself? Because Denji not being Chainsaw Man might actually stop him from being Chainsaw Man, which could lead to his death. If you kind of think about like the contract, or at least the technicality in a certain type of way. But enough talking about real Chainsaw Man, let's talk about fake Chainsaw Man. Which brings up the question, is this really fake Chainsaw Man? Because we know that this person claiming to be Chainsaw Man is working with Iruka. But how do we know this is the fake Chainsaw Man? For all of this could be just a fill-in or just someone taking the identity of it. Like, this has not been truly confirmed. And if Iruka and this fake Chainsaw Man are working together, this would most likely mean that Famine is working with fake Chainsaw Man, which is kind of bizarre because Fallen Devil is also working for Fam, and it's weird that those two would kind of like bash heads and help Asa and not help Asa. Maybe fake Chainsaw Man didn't want to help Fam because he disagreed with Fam's ways, or maybe fake Chainsaw Man helped Asa because Chainsaw Man also helped Asa, and because he likes Chainsaw Man, he's like, listen, I'm more of a Chainsaw Man fan than a fam. Oh man, okay. And now I do wonder what this will mean for public safety, because public safety said they wanted Denji to stop being Chainsaw Man, most likely because they want the growth of Chainsaw Man's church to decrease, or at least plummet to a point where things can get back under a well-regulated control. But now with the rise of this new Chainsaw Man, I wonder what this public safety can do. Would they let Denji go in? Would they expose him? And it does bring another thing too. This fake Chainsaw Man most likely will be living Denji's dream, because no matter what happens from here on out, Denji will be looked upon as the fake Chainsaw Man or Chainsaw Man number 2. So the dream of having all the ladies, man, it's just, oh man, it's just really sad time Denji. And this kind of bite public safety in the leg, because now there's really nothing to stop the ongoing feud between the church and the society, the citizens. Because we even see in this chapter that the church themselves are rioting against police now. It seems like the action of war is increasing, which I do believe goes back to Famine's planning to increase in war within Japan so that Yora's power can increase. But the main important thing is what fake Chainsaw Man says within this conference. Is where he says, I fight to create a world without devils, and in a devilless world, Adam and Eve will, and then it's cut off, because Denji said, wrong, I fight for no reason. I love this guy, man. It truly is. Oh man, yo, it truly is nice to have Denji in this series, man. He really is. I'm loving these Denji main chapters for a good while. I do miss Asa a little bit, but I've been loving these main chapters. But if I were to focus on what he said, Adam and Eve will, and I honestly don't know. If we know about Adam and Eve, from what the Bible says, they were the first human, and they had no sin. They were pure as heart. But then Adam ate from the forbidden fruit, and then they had sin, and then humans could die. And that's all I really know about Adam and Eve. I honestly don't know. If they want to do a connection to a dead devil, I feel like public safety, or at least Yoshida, would have been part of this, but I don't know. Actually, I had a theory of thinking that maybe the guy pretending to be Chainsaw Man could be Yoshida, and maybe public safety and them are working together so that they can make Denji go. No, that's too big brain. I'm not even gonna hint that there. And fake Chainsaw Man also mentioned that they were given this power by the Justice Devil. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the Justice Devil is by far proven to be by far the most weirdest devil. It's even come to a point where I'm really gonna question, like, is the Justice Devil really a devil? Because every single action they make doesn't follow what a normal, or at least a devil within their position, would normally do. Because if we were to go back to chapter 108 with Yuko, she talked about her contract with the Justice Devil. She talked about how the Justice Devil asked for nothing in return, only gave. And it's so weird, and how the Justice Devil gain power doesn't necessarily make sense, because people don't think of themselves as bad people. Justice is not viewed as something very negative. Point example being like early chapter of Chainsaw Man when Makina talked to the Yakuza. Yakuza never viewed themselves as evil. They viewed themselves as doing evil deeds, but they called themselves necessarily evil, as in everything they do is evil, but because another organization can come in and do even worse things, they are necessary. And they view the actions as just because they themselves are better than a greater evil. And this rationalizing of their actions being just doesn't really flow on how the Justice Devil can be this powerful, because people don't fear justice. Only maybe criminals fear justice, but it's a saying like every criminal is a hero in their book. So in certain aspects, they will view their actions as just. How can this devil be feared, or at least powerful? How can the devil be feared when no one themselves view them as doing the wrong thing? Because when it's being just been ever viewed as wrong, it's so weird to me. But that's mainly all I would actually say to this chapter. This will say is a very good chapter. I really am looking forward to the next. Chainsaw Man is back in action. I really want to know how this event will coincide with Asa, because Denji told Asa his true goals. I wonder if Asa might see this Chainsaw Man said, "You did it for this. Either you're a liar or you're not the real Chainsaw Man." Well, she did see there's two Chainsaw Men, so she might be able to understand that this might be the second Chainsaw Man. But that's all I leave for here, guys. What do you guys think? Was I right? Do you guys have your own theories in here? Please share them. I would love to hear them. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's been B3, and stay